During the trial, my daughter smiled confidently, thinking that I was finished. After all, the judge, her old friend, had already decided everything. She leaned over and whispered, "I'm going to leave you with nothing, Dad." But when I took out what I had been hiding in my pocket, her face contorted in shock. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. My back hurt from the wooden bench. Across from me, Octavia examined her nails. French manicure, expensive, while Derek whispered something that made him smile. Their lawyer, Luther Hayes, checked his Rolex for the third time in 5 minutes. My phone vibrated. Marlene. "Dad, please don't let them do this. Get a real lawyer." I didn't answer. Derek leaned back, tie perfectly knotted, shoes polished enough to reflect the courthouse ceiling. The bailiff appeared in the doorway. "Hawkins versus Coleman Hawkins, courtroom 3. Derek stood first, adjusted his cufflinks, passed close enough that his cologne hit me like a wall. "Ready to lose your house, old man?" My hand went to my jacket pocket. Paper there, folded, carried it for a week now. Ever since that night in my basement, I smiled. Small, just the corners. Derek's face changed. "What's funny?" "Nothing," I stood. "Just remembering something from 1995. 1 week earlier. Tuesday evening. The doorbell rang at 7:30. I was washing dinner dishes. 1 plate, 1 fork. The house quiet like it had been since Martha died. Through the window I saw Octavia's Lexus in my driveway. Derek's BMW behind it. A third car, black Mercedes. They carried briefcases. Practiced expressions. Concern, maybe. Hard to tell with Derek. His face always looked like he was calculating profit margins. I opened the door. "Dad!" Octavia didn't hug me. Hadn't in months. "We need to talk." "About? Can we come in?" I stepped aside. They filed into my kitchen. Luther Hayes introduced himself. Firm handshake. Expensive suit that cost more than my mortgage payment. Derek pulled out a chair without asking. "Lem, we need to talk about your debt." "My what?" Luther opened his briefcase. "Mr. Hawkins, my clients have documentation. I'm talking to my daughter." I looked at Octavia. "What is this?" Her eyes found the countertop. "Dad, you borrowed money. A lot of money. For my business. You remember?" "I gave you money. Never borrowed it." Derek spread papers across my kitchen table. "Semantics. Point is, you owe us. 200 grand. The papers had my signature. Close enough, anyway. Dates going back 5 years. Promissory notes. Legal language. I pulled my reading glasses from my shirt pocket. Studied each page. They watched. Luther tapped his pen against his briefcase. Derek checked his phone. "These signatures aren't mine." Luther's pen stopped tapping. "They match perfectly, Mr. Hawkins. We had them verified." "By whom? Does it matter?" Derek leaned forward. "Sign the transfer. Your house covers the debt. We're being generous." "Generous?" Not a question. The word sat there. I made coffee. Filled the pot. Ground the beans. Derek's foot tapped. Impatient. "Good. Dad, please." Octavia's voice had that rehearsed quality, like she'd practiced this. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." "Coffee?" I held up 2 mugs. They didn't answer. "More for me, then." I poured. Drank. Hot enough to burn. The papers sat on my table. Lies in expensive paper stock. "I'm not signing anything." Derek stood fast enough, his chair scraped. "Then we'll see you in court." Octavia touched her purse strap. Wouldn't look at me. "Dad, Judge Mitchell is an old friend of mine. We met at a charity event a few years ago. He'll be fair, but this will be quick." "Fair?" "The evidence is clear." Her voice got quieter. "Don't waste money on a lawyer. Just don't fight this." Luther gathered the papers. Efficient. Bored. Done this before. Derek stopped at my door. "See you next week, old man. Bring tissues." Their cars backed out. Taillights disappeared down Hickory Street. I stood at my kitchen window. Counted to 100. Old habit. Martha used to say I needed to count before making decisions. Then I went downstairs. My basement smelled like old paper and concrete. Filing cabinets lined 3 walls. 40 years of court transcripts. Every case I'd stenographed, typed, archived. People thought digital was better. Digital disappeared. Paper lasted. I went to cabinet 7. Drawer 3. Didn't hesitate. Muscle memory from decades of filing. March 15th, 1995. The transcript was yellowed, edges soft. My handwriting in the margins, shorthand notes. Questions I'd had then. Young Lem, 28 years old, new father, recording every word of State versus Marcus Wells. I remembered that day. Prosecutor Horace Mitchell, nervous, ambitious, presenting evidence that didn't quite match. A knife, found in the suspect's apartment. Fingerprints perfect. Timeline wrong. My notes showed it. Evidence log dated Monday. Mitchell testified police found it Thursday morning. 3 days. Someone held that knife for 3 days. I'd known then something was off. I'd said nothing. Too young, too scared, too much mortgage, and too little courage. Marcus Wells served 15 years. Mitchell became a judge. I pulled my phone from my pocket. 3 calls. First, Des, it's Lem. We need to talk. His voice came through tired. Lem? Haven't heard from you in months. What's wrong? Remember that case in '95? The Wells murder trial? Pause. Long one. Lem, tomorrow. O'Malley's bar. 6 o'clock. This is about Octavia, isn't it? I heard tomorrow. I hung up. Second call. Private investigator. Opal Sanders. Owed me a favor from 2 years back when I'd helped her track down probate records. Mr. Hawkins. Didn't expect to hear from you. I have a job, cash, quiet. I'm listening. Tomorrow, after I meet someone. I'll call you then. Mysterious. I like it. Third call. Marlene, Toronto. Late there. She answered anyway. Dad, what's wrong? Nothing, sweetheart. It's 10:30. You never call this late. Octavia came by tonight. Silence then. Dad, I can fly down. I can loan you money for a lawyer. No need. Dad, Derek is a snake. You need help. I have help. Trust me. What are you planning? The transcript sat on my workbench. 30 years old. Perfect condition. Something I should have done 30 years ago. Back to the courthouse. Present day. The courtroom door opened. Judge Mitchell's chambers visible through the gap. Wood paneling. American flag. Law books nobody read anymore. Octavia touched my arm. First contact in months. Dad, I'm sorry it came to this. I looked at her hand. Pulled away. Gentle. Final. No, you're not. Not yet. What's that supposed to mean? The bailiff held the door. Luther Hayes walked through first. Derek followed. That smirk again. I patted my jacket pocket. The transcript there. Safe. Ready. You said this would be quick, Octavia. I met her eyes. You're right about that. 24 hours after Octavia and Derek left my house, I walked into O'Malley's bar on Broad Street. 6 days before that courthouse moment. My Camry sat in the public lot, 2 blocks away. Walking gave me thinking time. The leather messenger bag pulled at my shoulder, heavy with the transcript, my notebook, the weight of 30 years. O'Malley's looked the same as 40 years ago. Wood paneling dark with age. Irish memorabilia covering every wall. Regulars on their stools like fixtures. Hank at the far end, nursing his beer. Same stool since 1995. Des sat in the back booth, already there. Always punctual, both of us. Court stenographer habits die hard. You look terrible, he said. Thanks. Whiskey. Since when do you drink? Since yesterday, when my daughter tried to steal my house. Des's face did that thing. Sympathy mixed with something else. Sue from the courthouse had talked. Small town. Everyone knew everything eventually. I heard. I'm sorry, Lem. Don't be. I set the messenger bag on the table. I'm not. The bartender brought my Jameson. Neat. Rare for me. Des watched me drink. His bowling league jacket smelled like Thunder Alley lanes, cigarette smoke and floor wax. I pulled out the transcript, slid it across the booth. Des put on his wire-rimmed glasses. Gray hair caught the dim light. 71 years old. Still sharp. Still saw everything. His face went pale. Lem, where did you get this? I typed every word. March 15th, 1995. State versus Marcus Wells. He flipped pages. Slow. Careful. His finger traced my margin notes. The questions. The timeline that didn't work. These notes. You're saying Mitchell fabricated? I'm saying the timeline doesn't work. Evidence logged Monday. Found Thursday. Mitchell testified he was present when they found it Thursday morning. That's... Des's voice dropped. That's evidence tampering. That's a felony. Yes. Marcus Wells. Des removed his glasses, rubbed his eyes. I remember that case. He did 15 years. Innocent. The word hung there, heavy, final. Des drank his beer, set it down carefully. Why didn't you report this? 30 years ago? My hand found the glass. Second drink. My hands don't shake, except once, just then. I steadied it. I was 28, Des. Octavia was 2. I had a mortgage. I convinced myself. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I misread the log. But you kept the transcript. I kept everything. Every transcript, every case. I finished the whiskey, because part of me knew. Someday, you couldn't have known it would matter like this. No, but I'm glad I kept it. The glass was empty. Good. Universe has a dark sense of humor. Des turned pages. Reading my notes again. Stenographer's shorthand. Codes only we understood. Court language. Evidence language. The language of people who recorded truth for a living. Lem, this is nuclear. You could end Mitchell's career. I know. You could also get yourself in trouble. Why did you keep evidence of a crime? It's not evidence. It's my work notes. Perfectly legal. He smiled. Finally. Small one. You sneaky old bastard. I learned from the best lawyers, including you. I pulled out my notebook. Same brand I'd used 40 years ago. Spiral bound, mechanical pencil. Started writing questions. Connecting dots. Here's what I don't understand, I said. Why is Mitchell helping Octavia? Maybe he really is an old friend. No, judges don't risk their careers for friends' civil cases. There's something else. Derek? Has to be. Mitchell's what? 65? Respectable. Careful. Why would he tank his reputation? Des leaned back. The booth creaked. Unless someone's forcing him. Exactly. Derek knows something, or has something. So you need to find out what? I wrote Derek's name in my notebook. Drew a line to Mitchell's. Question mark between them. I called Opal Sanders this morning. Des's eyebrows went up. The PI? She still owe you that favor? She does. She starts digging tomorrow. Derek and Mitchell. What connects them? She reliable? She's 29, drives a beat-up Honda, lives on Red Bull in spite. I closed my notebook. She once tailed a cheating husband for 3 days in a clown costume because it was the only disguise she had. But she found out he had 2 other families in 2 other states. So yes, Des. She's reliable. He laughed. First real sound that cut through the bar noise. Hank glanced over, looked back at his beer. We talked logistics, timeline, court in 6 days. Mitchell presiding. No conflicts of interest declared, because Octavia was his friend, not his blackmailer's partner. My hand went across the table, gripped Des's wrist. Rare contact. He noticed. Don't tell Marlene, I said. She'll worry. Lem, promise me. He nodded. I released his wrist, picked up the transcript, handled it like glass. Precious. Dangerous. Been protecting it for 3 decades, waiting without knowing I was waiting. You know what kills me? I said. I was sitting on this bomb for 30 years, and my daughter picked the worst possible judge to threaten me in front of. If Derek's the mastermind he thinks he is, he should have done his research. Then again, he calls me old man like it's an insult. Des smiled. Old means you remember. Old means I have receipts. Hank shifted on his stool, closer to our booth, pretending to read the menu he'd memorized in 1990. The Wells case, I said, quieter. March 95. Terrible thing. Hank's head turned, just slightly. My stomach dropped. You know they let him out eventually, Hank called over. Saw it in the Chronicle, DNA or something. Innocent the whole time. Terrible thing. I froze. Des's eyes widened. Yeah, I said. Casual. Forced. Terrible. Hank returned to his beer, but the damage was done. Small town, small bar. People remembered. People talked. Des leaned close, whispered, You need to be more careful. If word gets to Mitchell, you're asking about that case. I know. The transcript went back in my bag. We needed to leave. Move faster. Court in 6 days. No more public discussions. Everything goes through Opal now. We stood. Des threw cash on the table. Too much. Nervous. We walked toward the door. My phone buzzed. Text message. Unknown number. I opened it. My face must have changed. Des grabbed my arm. What? I showed him the screen. Photo. Recent. Derek and Judge Mitchell. Together. Mitchell's chambers. Mitchell handing Derek a document. both smiling. Comfortable, familiar. Timestamp, yesterday. The day after Octavia and Derek threatened me. Below the photo. Thought you should see this. You have friends. OS. Opal Sanders. Already working. Already finding things. Des stared at the photo. Lem, Derek's in the judge's chambers the day after threatening you. That's not just suspicious. That's confirmation. My voice came out flat. Calm. The opposite of what I felt. Mitchell's not helping Octavia. He's helping Derek. And whatever Derek has on him, it's big enough to risk everything. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Opal. There's more. Call me tonight. Private. This goes deeper than you think. I stood in O'Malley's doorway. The bar noise behind me. Augusta night ahead. My daughter wasn't the mastermind. She was another victim. And Derek's game was more dangerous than anyone knew. I called Opal Sanders from my Camry. Engine off. Street lights cast orange through the windshield. Des sat in his car 3 spots over, waiting, making sure I got home safe. Old friend habits. She answered on the first ring. Mr. Hawkins, that photo is just the start. What else did you find? Derek Coleman, sealed criminal record 2018, Richmond County. My hand tightened on the phone. Sealed by whom? Take a wild guess. Judge Horace Mitchell signed the order. The pieces clicked. So Derek has leverage. Bingo! I'm pulling the case file tomorrow. Won't be easy. Sealed records are sealed. But I have a friend in the clerk's office. How much do I owe you for this? You got my brother's DUI dismissed in 2019. Testified about chain of custody errors. Remember? I remembered. Young kid, 22, stupid mistake. My testimony about the evidence log saved him. Then we're even. Well, getting there. We talked for 45 minutes. She'd been staking out Mitchell's courthouse office since morning. Watched Derek arrive at 2, stay 90 minutes, leave with a folder. She ran preliminary backgrounds. Derek's sealed case, his financials, his connections. There's more, she said. That charity gala in 2022, where Octavia supposedly met Mitchell by chance? What about it? Derek donated $5,000. Unusual for a mid-level realtor. He specifically requested a table near Mitchell. My breath caught. He planned it. 3 years ago. Whatever he's doing, he's been working it for a long time. I drove home. 20 minutes through empty Augusta streets. My house looked smaller somehow. Darker. I parked in the driveway and sat there. Tomorrow I'd start building the case. Tonight, I just needed to breathe. Morning came at 5. No sleep. I went downstairs. My basement became a war room. I pulled the old corkboard from behind the filing cabinets, propped it against the wall, started pinning documents. Timeline in blue marker across the top. 1995. Wells case. 2005. Mitchell becomes judge. 2018. Derek's sealed case. 2022. Derek introduces Octavia to Mitchell. 2025. Present. Yellow sticky notes with questions. Red string connecting events. Actual string. I looked like a conspiracy theorist, or a TV detective. Difference being my conspiracy was real, and I had receipts. 30 years of receipts. I briefly considered adding photos of Derek with a red X through his face, but that seemed dramatic. I settled for a printout of his smug LinkedIn profile photo instead. Same effect. The stenographer part of my brain loved this. Visual patterns, connections, timeline inconsistencies jumping out in red string. My phone buzzed. Email from Opal. Subject line, you'll want to sit down. I sat. The email had attachments. Security footage stills from the 2022 gala. Derek approaching Mitchell deliberately. Octavia introduced minutes later. It wasn't chance. It was choreographed. But why? What was Derek's endgame 3 years ago? I printed everything, added it to the wall, stepped back. The pattern was there. I just couldn't see all of it yet. That afternoon, I drove to Waffle House on Gordon Highway. 15 minutes. Marcus Wells sat in a corner booth. Coffee already cold in front of him. He looked 70. He was 55. Prison does that. You're the stenographer? His voice was rough. From my trial. I was. I'm sorry, Mr. Wells. Sorry? You knew Mitchell lied? I suspected. The timeline didn't match. But I was 28. New father. Mortgage. The word stuck. I didn't have proof. Just notes. I did 15 years. I know. and I can't give you those years back, but I can help you get justice now." Wells laughed. Bitter sound. "Justice? Man's a judge now, untouchable. Not if we do this right. He's dirty. Was dirty then, is dirty now. And now he's helping someone steal my house. Karma's a funny thing." I slid the transcript across the table. He read my margin notes slowly. His hands shook. "What do you need?" "You're the victim. The proof Mitchell fabricates evidence. When the time comes, I need you to tell your story. Publicly." "When?" "Soon." He studied me, evaluating. "Why should I trust you? You stayed quiet for 30 years. Fair question. Because I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust yourself. You know what happened. You know Mitchell lied. Help me prove it." Wells folded the transcript, pushed it back. "Keep it safe, and when you're ready, I'll be there." The next morning, I visited a strip mall across town. Carl Pitts's law office sat between a nail salon and a vape shop. Water stain on the ceiling shaped like Florida. Carl's law degree hung crooked. Correspondence school. "Mr. Hawkins," he stood nervous. "Have a seat." His desk was cluttered. Files stacked haphazardly. Coffee rings on every surface. "So, Mr. Hawkins, you're being sued by your daughter for $200,000? That's what she claims. And you have documentation proving you didn't borrow this money?" "The promissory notes are forged." Pitts shifted papers. "Well, we'll need to prove that. Handwriting analysis, maybe forensic accounting." "How much would that cost?" "Oh, several thousand, maybe 10, 15. I have $500. His face fell. "500, mister." "Hawkins, that's not, for a case like this? Can you represent me or not?" He deflated. "Completely." Yes. But I have to be honest. Against Luther Hayes, this will be difficult. I understand. Do your best. I was paying this man to lose my case, and I still felt like I might be overpaying. The water stain judged me silently. That evening, Marlene called, practically screaming. "Dad, I Googled Carl Pitts. He has a 2-star rating on Yelp." "Since when do lawyers have Yelp ratings?" "Since forever. Dad, he lost 12 out of 14 cases last year." "Those were DUIs." "Exactly. He loses DUIs. How is he going to handle property law against Luther Hayes?" "Marlene, I can loan you money. 20,000. Get a real lawyer." "No." "Dad, you're being stubborn. This is your house. Where will you live?" "Trust me, sweetheart." "That's what you keep saying, but have I ever let you down?" Quieter now. "No." "Then trust me now, please." She hung up. Not angry, just scared. I didn't blame her. Downtown Augusta. Rita Chen's notary office. 5th floor of an old building that smelled like coffee and copy toner. Rita was 60-something. Stern. Glasses on a chain. Took her job seriously. I laid the 1995 transcript on her desk. My stenographer's certification from that era beside it. "Mr. Hawkins, this is 30 years old. I made that copy in 1995. It was legal then. Stenographers kept working copies." "And you've had it since?" "In my basement. Every transcript I ever made. I never throw anything away." She examined my certification. My signature from 3 decades ago. The transcript pages. "This could be explosive if it proves a judge fabricated evidence." "Yes." Rita stamped the document. Official seal. "I'm notarizing that this appears to be a legitimate court transcript copy, and that you've provided your certification ID from 1995. What you do with it is up to me. Thank you, Rita." Thursday evening. Bowling alley. Des was horrified. "Carl Pitts. You hired Carl Pitts." "I did." "The man who once showed up to court with his fly unzipped." "Was it unzipped the whole time?" "Lem, this isn't funny." "It's a little funny, but it's necessary." "Explain." I set down my bowling ball. "If I hire a good lawyer, I might actually win the case. Or draw it out. Or settle." "And that's bad?" "That's incomplete. I don't want to beat Octavia in civil court. I want to expose why Mitchell is helping Derek. I need Mitchell confident, smug, making mistakes." Understanding dawned in his eyes. "So you're going to lose. Spectacularly. And when Mitchell thinks he's won, when Derek thinks he's safe, when Octavia thinks I'm defeated, you pull the transcript. I pull the transcript." But something bothered me. At the bar earlier, I'd mentioned the Wells case, not loudly. But Hank, old regular at the end, had perked up. Wells case, I remember that. I'd changed the subject fast, but damage was done. Small town. People talked. Des had warned me. You need to be more careful. If word gets to Mitchell. I knew. First crack in my careful planning. Emotional, angry, capable of mistakes. No more public discussions. Everything through Opal now. Friday night, late. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Hawkins, this is Horace Mitchell. I froze. Judges don't call litigants. Ever. Judge Mitchell? Mr. Hawkins, I'm calling off the record. This lawsuit, your daughter's lawsuit. What about it? His voice was strained. Tight. I'm required to hear the case. It was randomly assigned to me, but I want to be fair. Fair? I'm just saying, if you wanted to settle before trial, I would encourage both parties to consider that option. Judge, is everything all right? Long pause. Too long. Just think about settling, Mr. Hawkins. It would be better. For everyone. He hung up. I sat in my basement, surrounded by my war room. Red string. Timeline. Questions. Mitchell was terrified. Derek was pushing him. The judge tried to warn me, or it was a trap. I called Opal immediately. Mitchell just called me, directly. That's insane. Judges don't do that. He told me to settle. Said it would be better for everyone. Lem, either Mitchell is trying to help you, or Derek told him to scare you off. Either way, I'm in deeper than I thought. Court in 3 days. And now Mitchell knew I wasn't backing down. I woke up at 5 a.m. on the day I planned to lose everything. Coffee first, black, then shower, then choosing what to wear. My father's watch. My best suit from Martha's funeral 3 years ago. The uniform of defeat. The 1995 transcript went in my inside jacket pocket. Folded carefully. Safe. I drove to Richmond County Courthouse, parked in the public lot. Carl Pitts arrived in an ancient Corolla, looking like he might vomit. Luther Hayes stepped from a Mercedes, checking his phone. Bored already. Derek and Octavia arrived together, her Lexus. He got out first, opened her door. Gentleman act. She wore navy blue, professional, trustworthy. Derek saw me across the lot, that smirk. I nodded once. Kept walking. Courtroom 3. Second floor. I'd been here 1,000 times. Recording cases, other people's disasters, now mine. Judge Mitchell entered at 9 sharp. Gray hair, expensive suit, exhausted face. All rise, we rose. Mitchell's hands shook when he shuffled papers. His eyes found Derek in the gallery. 3rd row, then looked away fast. Luther Hayes stood, smooth, polished. Your Honor, this is a straightforward case. The defendant, Mr. Lemuel Hawkins, borrowed $200,000 from his daughter over 5 years. We have documentation. We have bank records. We have Mr. Hawkins' own signed promissory notes promising repayment. He displayed documents on a screen. Blown up. My alleged signature. Dates. Amounts. The total debt is $200,000. Ms. Coleman Hawkins has been patient. She's been understanding. She's been generous. But her father has refused every request for repayment. She has no choice but to seek legal remedy. Perfect delivery. Practiced. Convincing. Mitchell looked at Carl Pitts. Mr. Pitts, your opening. Carl stood, papers shaking in his hands. Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Hawkins, he maintains that these signatures are not authentic. He gave money to his daughter. He didn't borrow it. Mitchell leaned forward. Do you have evidence of forgery? We would need to hire an expert. Do you have an expert? Not at this time, Then sit down, Mr. Pitts. Carl sat, deflated. I patted his arm. You're doing fine. He looked like he might cry. Luther Hayes called Octavia to the stand. She took the oath. Sat. Composed. Ready. Ms. Coleman Hawkins, when did you first loan your father money? In 2020. February. He called me, said his pension wasn't enough for repairs on his house. The roof was leaking. How much did you loan him? $15,000. And did he promise to repay you? Yes, he signed a note. Hayes showed the document. That's his signature. Did he repay you? She shook her head. No. 6 months later, he called again. Said he needed money for medical bills. I sent $25,000. Over 5 years. How many times did he borrow money? 12 times. Always with a reason, always with a promise. And the total? $200,000. Did he repay any of it? Nothing. When I asked, he became angry. He said I was ungrateful, that he raised me, paid for my college. I owed him. I watched her. She didn't look at me once. Not once. Hayes thanked her, sat down. Carl Pitts stood for cross-examination. Slow, uncertain. Ms. Coleman Hawkins, isn't it true that you asked your father to invest in your boutique? He volunteered, but you asked him. He offered, as a loan, with the understanding he'd be repaid. Do you have documentation of that understanding? Yes. The promissory notes. What if I told you those signatures don't match? Hayes shot up. Objection, speculation. Mr. Pitts has no expert testimony. Mitchell didn't hesitate. Sustained. Mr. Pitts, do you have actual evidence? No, Your Honor. Then move on or sit down. Carl sat. No further questions, I whispered to him. Don't try too hard. He looked at me. Confused. Lost. Lunch recess. Noon. I bought coffee from the courthouse cafe, sipped it slowly, checked my phone. Derek was nodding so hard during Octavia's testimony, I worried about whiplash. The irony of a con man calling me manipulative wasn't lost on anyone with a functioning brain. Unfortunately, Judge Mitchell seemed to have misplaced his. Octavia approached, alone at first, navy suit, expensive shoes. Dad, please, sign the deed. This doesn't have to get worse. Worse for whom? For you. Judge Mitchell is going to rule against you. I know you think... You know what I think? I know you're stubborn, but this is over. Just accept it. Derek appeared, smiled. Listen to your smart daughter, old man. Old man, you keep saying that. Because it's true. You're old, confused. You probably don't even remember borrowing the money. My memory is excellent, Derek. Really? Then you remember signing these? He waved a promissory note. I remember a lot of things. From a lot of years. Octavia's face changed, just slightly. Dad, what does that mean? It means I'm not as helpless as you think. Derek laughed. Helpless? You hired Carl Pitts. You are helpless. Maybe. Or maybe I know exactly what I'm doing. Then what are you doing? My hand touched my jacket pocket. The transcript there. Safe. Derek's eyes followed the movement, locked on my pocket. I dropped my hand. Too late. Waiting, I said. Waiting for what? You'll see. Afternoon session. Mitchell requested all parties empty pockets. Any recording devices, per court rules. Unusual. Very unusual. I put my keys, wallet, phone on the defendant's table. The transcript stayed in my inside jacket pocket. Technically internal, not a pocket. But Derek watched. Close. Suspicious. I'd underestimated him. He wasn't just a con man. He was observant. Careful. This would be harder than I thought. Court adjourned at 4. Tomorrow. Closing arguments and ruling. People filed out. I packed Carl's useless briefcase. Slow. Last to leave. Luther Hayes stopped. Mr. Hawkins, you should seriously consider settling. The judge will rule against you tomorrow. Save yourself the formal loss. I nodded. Said nothing. He left. I reached the courtroom door. Judge Mitchell's voice stopped me. Mr. Hawkins, a moment. I turned. Mitchell stood at his bench, robe still on, looking older than 65. Close the door. I closed it. The bailiff stepped out. We were alone. I want you to know, this isn't personal, isn't it? I'm following the evidence, the law. Of course you are. Pause. Heavy. You seem very calm for a man about to lose his home. Do I? Most people in your position would be angry, desperate. I'm not most people. Mitchell studied me. No, you're not. You were a court stenographer. 40 years. 39 years and 8 months, but yes. Then you've seen a lot of cases. Thousands. Seen a lot of judges. Good ones, bad ones, and everything in between. His voice dropped, barely audible. What kind am I? I looked at him. Really looked. Saw the man behind the robe. Trapped. Scared. Guilty. You were a good prosecutor once, Horace. 1995. State versus Marcus Wells. Remember that case? His face went white. Absolutely white. His hand gripped the bench edge. I was the stenographer. I remember it very well, every word. Get out. See you tomorrow, Judge. I walked out, left him frozen. In the hallway, my phone buzzed. Opal Sanders. Got the 2018 file. You need to see this. Now. Tomorrow would be interesting. I slept 4 hours. Enough. Spent the rest of the night reading Opal's file on Derek's 2018 case. Now I understood everything. Court reconvened at 9. Same seat. Same defendant's table. Same worn transcript in my inside jacket pocket. Mitchell entered. Looked worse than yesterday. Gray, exhausted, trapped. Luther Hayes stood for closing. Your Honor, the evidence is clear. The defendant owes my client $200,000. We request immediate judgment. Carl Pitts tried. God love him, he tried. Your Honor, my client maintains his innocence, but we have no evidence to counter. Mitchell nodded, lifted his prepared statement. Having reviewed the evidence, the promissory notes, the testimony, I stood. Mitchell stopped mid-sentence. Mr. Hawkins? Your Honor, I have one question for the plaintiff. This is highly irregular. I've heard testimony. One question. That's all I ask. Mitchell paused, calculation behind tired eyes. Maybe he thought I'd embarrass myself. Maybe some part of him wanted to delay the inevitable. One question, Mr. Hawkins. Then I'm ruling. Octavia returned to the witness stand, confused but confident. Derek whispered something encouraging from the gallery. She smoothed her navy suit. I kept professional distance. Octavia, do you really believe Judge Mitchell is helping you out of friendship? What? I don't... What kind of question is that? A simple one. You said he's an old friend, that you met at a charity event 3 years ago. Yes, and did you ever wonder why a respected judge would risk his reputation to help you win a civil case? Luther Hayes shot up. Objection. Relevance. Sustained. Mr. Hawkins, ask your question, or sit, because I don't think he's helping you out of friendship, Octavia. I think he's helping you because your husband is blackmailing him. The courtroom erupted. Derek jumped up. His chair hit the floor. Metal on marble. Beautiful acoustics. The courtroom had excellent sound design for dramatic moments. I appreciated that. Derek did not. That's insane. Your Honor, this is defamation. I ignored him. Kept looking at Octavia. Derek introduced you to Mitchell deliberately. It wasn't chance. Dad, what are you talking about? Derek pushed forward. Don't listen to him. He's desperate. Making up lies. Am I? I reached for my inside jacket pocket. Slowly. Everyone watched. Derek's eyes locked on my hand. I pulled out the transcript. Folded. Yellowed. 30 years of evidence. What is that? Derek's voice pitched high. What do you have? Proof. Mitchell's voice cracked. Mr. Hawkins, sit down. Proof that Judge Mitchell fabricated evidence 30 years ago. Proof that sent an innocent man to prison. Proof that your husband used to force the judge to rule in your favor. I held the transcript up. Old paper. Official court header visible. My handwriting in the margins. March 15th, 1995. State versus Marcus Wells. Murder trial. I was the court stenographer. Mitchell went white. Absolutely white. I recorded every word of that trial, Judge, including the evidence timeline that didn't match. Luther Hayes. Your Honor, I must object to this entire... A murder weapon, allegedly found in Marcus Wells' apartment on Thursday morning. But the evidence log I saw, the log I transcribed, showed it was tagged and logged on Monday, 3 days earlier. Mitchell stood, swayed. Bailiff! Someone held that weapon for 3 days. Someone added Wells' fingerprints. Someone fabricated evidence. And that someone was prosecutor, Horace Mitchell. Derek screamed. This is all speculation. He has no proof. I looked at the back row. I have 30 years of proof. My notes, my observations, my sworn testimony as an officer of the court. Marcus Wells stood, slow, deliberate. I'm Marcus Wells. The courtroom went silent, actually silent. I spent 15 years in Georgia State Prison for a murder I didn't commit. 15 years. My wife left. My children grew up without me. My mother died while I was inside. Mitchell sat down heavily, like his legs gave out. You did that, Judge Mitchell. When you were a prosecutor, you put me there with your lies, Octavia whispered. Dad, is this true? It's true, every word, and I can prove it. Derek turned to her, desperate. Don't believe him. Your father is manipulating you. This is crazy. Is it? Is it crazy, or did you know about this? Baby, did you know? Mitchell hit the gavel. Weak strikes. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded less like order in the court and more like, please stop yelling at me. 30 years as a judge, and he'd forgotten how to use his hammer. Karma had a sense of timing. This court is in recess. Bailiff, clear the courtroom. I looked at him. Really looked. Are you recessing, Your Honor, or are you running? Mr. Hawkins, you are in contempt. I'm in contempt? You fabricated evidence that destroyed a man's life. Clear the courtroom. The bailiff approached, gentle hand on my arm. Sir, you need to come with me. Of course, I've said what I came to say. As I walked down the aisle, I passed Octavia, still frozen in the witness box. Your husband isn't who you think he is. Neither is your friend the judge. Dad? And those promissory notes? Check the signatures yourself, Octavia. Really look at them. The hallway buzzed, lawyers whispering. Someone had photographed the transcript through courtroom windows. Marcus Wells followed me out. We stood together, didn't speak, just shared a nod. Derek burst through the doors, wild-eyed, disheveled. He grabbed my arm. I shook him off. Don't touch me. That transcript proves nothing. It's your notes. Hearsay. Is it? We'll let the Georgia Bar Association decide that. You'll regret this. I'll destroy you. You'll what? Blackmail another judge? That worked out well. Desperation replaced anger. You don't understand. Mitchell wasn't what? Innocent? No, he wasn't. Neither are you. He changed tactics. Octavia will never forgive you for this. You've ruined her life. No, Derek, you did that. My phone rang. I answered, listened. When? Pause. Are you certain? Pause. I'm on my way. I hung up, looked at Derek. That was Opal Sanders, my private investigator. His face changed, fear replacing everything else. She's at your house in Atlanta, your other house, where your other family lives. Derek went white, stumbled backward against the wall. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? I walked away, left him collapsed there. Marcus Wells followed. Behind us, through the courtroom windows, Octavia emerged. She saw Derek's state, stopped, confused. She didn't know yet, but she was about to learn everything. 20 minutes later, I stood in the courthouse hallway, holding my phone. Derek crumpled against the wall 10 feet away, looking like he'd been hit by a truck. He had been, just not the kind with wheels. Mitchell's secretary approached, nervous. Judge Mitchell requests all parties in chambers, immediately. Derek barely stood. Octavia appeared from somewhere, mascara smudged, face blank. Luther Hayes materialized, already calculating exit strategies. Carl Pitts followed like a confused puppy. We filed into Mitchell's chambers. Wood paneling, law books nobody read, photos of the judge with politicians who'd abandon him tomorrow. Mitchell sat behind his desk, still in his robe, hands shaking. He spoke before anyone else could. I'll resign within 30 days. I'll refer Marcus Wells to the GBI. I'll dismiss your case immediately, with prejudice. Just, what else do you want? I blinked. That's it? What else is there? My career's over. My reputation is destroyed. You've won, Mr. Hawkins. I didn't want to win, Judge. I wanted justice. Justice. Bitter laugh. I don't even know what that means anymore. I pulled out more papers, laid them on his desk, methodical, organized. These are phone records. Calls and texts between Derek and Judge Mitchell. 6 months of correspondence. Luther Hayes read over my shoulder. His face did calculations faster than a Wall Street computer. Client scandal plus public exposure plus his firm's name in tomorrow's headlines equaled time to distance himself. I watched him scoot his chair an inch away from Octavia. Subtle, professional, cowardly. Text from Derek Coleman, January 15th. I know about Marcus Wells, 1995. Evidence problems. Want me to keep quiet? Your response, Judge. What do you want? Derek found his voice. Those could be fake. Anyone can fake text records. Shall we get a warrant for your phone? Check the originals? Silence. Octavia took the pages from Hayes. Read slowly. Her face transformed. Make sure the old man loses everything. You wrote that. About my father. Baby, you don't understand the context. What context makes that okay? He was trying to ruin your business. I was protecting you. By blackmailing a judge? I didn't blackmail anyone, I read aloud. Do this or the Wells case becomes public. Your choice, Judge. That's March 3rd. Definition of blackmail. Mitchell's voice. barely audible. He found out during his own case. 2018. Real estate fraud charges in my court. He was looking for ways to, and he found Wells. Derek rounded on him. This is your fault. If you just ruled for Octavia like you promised, like I promised, you threatened me, you forced me. You came cheap for a judge. One mistake from 30 years ago and you folded like paper. My mistake sent a man to prison for 15 years. And my leverage got you to do the right thing. Octavia deserved that house. Octavia stood. No, I didn't. The signatures were fake. You forged them, didn't you? Didn't you? Derek caught. Trapped. You needed to believe? You forged my father's signature. You faked the promissory notes. You dragged me into court to lie for you. For us! For our future! We don't have a future. Luther Hayes stood. Mr. Coleman, I'm withdrawing as counsel, effective immediately. You can't do that. I absolutely can, and I am. Good luck. He moved faster than I'd ever seen a lawyer move without hourly billing involved. The door practically left scorch marks. I respected his survival instincts. Rats, sinking ships, and all that. He'd probably bill Octavia for the exit. Octavia held her phone, searching something. Her face went through stages. Confusion, comprehension, devastation. Derek, who is Heather Morrison? He paled. Who? I don't... 2847 Riverside Drive, Atlanta. House in your name and hers. Who is she? That's business. It's complicated. Is she your wife? No. God, no. She showed him her phone screen. Then why are there photos of you two at a wedding? From 2017? Long silence. Heavy. Crushing. Octavia, I can explain. You're married to her. It's not a real marriage. It was for tax purposes. Tax purposes. That was a new one. I'd heard a lot of excuses in 40 years of courtrooms. But I committed bigamy for tax purposes? That was creative. Stupid, but creative. The IRS would be fascinated. Tax purposes? And she knows about you. She's fine with it. You have another family. Octavia, please. 2 children. I can see them in the photos. How old? Baby, listen. How old? Derek deflated completely. 7 and 5. We've been married 6 years. Pause. Long. Heavy. You married me while married to her. While raising her children. It's not like that sounds... She looked at me. Tears streaming. Real ones. Not performance. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Derek tried to reach for her. She jerked away. Get away from me. Without me, you have nothing. Your business is in debt. Your father hates you. No, he doesn't. But I think I'm starting to hate you. Derek lunged for the desk, trying to grab the transcript. Destroy evidence. Carl Pitts blocked him. The lawyer who couldn't object properly, who'd lost 12 out of 14 DUI cases, who had a water-stained ceiling and a crooked law degree, just turned into an action hero. I don't think so, Mr. Coleman. The bailiff entered, grabbed Derek. Sir, you need to leave. Now. Derek fought. Screamed. This isn't over, Lem. You haven't won. I watched him dragged out. Yes, Derek, I have. My phone buzzed. Text from Opal. Marcus Wells arrested. County jail. Confronted Mitchell in parking lot. Need bail. I texted Des immediately. Kept my face neutral. One complication. Manageable. Mitchell signed the dismissal order. Typed his resignation letter. His hands shook the entire time. Judge Mitchell, here's what happens next. You dismiss the case. Today, you submit your resignation letter. Tomorrow, you cooperate fully with the GBI investigation. And if I do all that, then I don't send this transcript to every newspaper in Georgia? You're blackmailing me. No, Judge, I'm giving you a choice. Something you never gave Marcus Wells. He nodded. Broken. I'll do it. All of it. Parking lot. Late afternoon. I was exhausted. Victorious. Done. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Hawkins? This is Heather Morrison, Derek's other wife. I stopped walking. Ms. Morrison, I'm surprised to hear from you. I bet. Look, I heard what happened in court today. Someone posted about it online already, and I need you to know something. What's that? Derek didn't just scam you and the judge. He scammed me too. The house in Atlanta. He took out a second mortgage I didn't know about. He's been stealing from both families. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be sorry. Be ready. Because Derek, when he's cornered, he gets dangerous. I've seen it. And right now, he has nothing left to lose. What are you saying? I'm saying watch your back. Derek isn't going to just let this go. Just be careful, Mr. Hawkins. She hung up. I reached my Camry, unlocked it, walked around it once, checking. Nothing. I got in, started the engine, pulled out. In my rearview mirror, Derek's car, 3 rows back. Derek in the driver's seat, watching me, not moving, just watching. I'd won in court. I'd exposed Mitchell. I'd saved my house. But Heather Morrison was right. This wasn't over. 3 days passed. Mitchell's resignation made the front page. Derek vanished. Octavia. I didn't know where she was, until my doorbell rang at 2 a.m. I'd been in my kitchen reviewing documents from Opal. Couldn't sleep. Too wired, I approached the door cautiously. Heather's warning about Derek being dangerous echoed. Through the peephole, Octavia. Destroyed. No makeup. Hair disheveled. Eyes swollen. I opened the door. She collapsed into a chair, could barely speak. Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know about any of it. You didn't want to know, Octavia. There's a difference. I made coffee. Old habit. But my face stayed hard. She told me about Derek's counterattacks. False police report claiming I threatened him. Stalked him. His new lawyer pushing Augusta PD to investigate. Restraining order talk. He emptied our accounts. Every business account. Personal savings. Everything. $320,000. I can't make payroll. Can't pay rent. Each revelation made me angrier. Not at her. At Derek's vindictiveness. He's been calling my clients. Telling them I'm mentally unstable. That I'm lying. That I'm covering up crimes. My vendors are cutting ties. Come downstairs. My basement. Investigation wall. 3 years of Derek's manipulation laid out in colored string and documents. Octavia stared. When did you... How long have you known? About Derek and Mitchell. 2 weeks. About Derek being a snake. Much longer. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Pause. Heavy. No. Exactly. She traced the timeline. The charity gala. The business loans. The lawsuit. All connected. He played me from the beginning. Yes, he did. I showed her everything. Phone records. Property transactions. The sealed 2018 case. Then Atlanta. Derek's other family. Other house. Other life. She ran to the bathroom. Threw up. When she emerged, she was different. Harder. Angrier. Octavia, there's something you need to understand. You committed perjury. Her face went white. What? No, I just testified. You testified under oath. You swore those promissory notes were real. You said my signatures were authentic. That's a felony. 2 to 10 years. But I didn't know they were fake? Did you check? Did you verify? Or did you just believe Derek? Silence. She hadn't checked. Believed her husband over her father. The DA could charge you tomorrow. Mitchell's case is getting major attention. They'll want everyone involved. What do I do? That depends. Are you ready to tell the truth? At 4 a.m., my landline rang. Heather Morrison. I put it on speaker. Mr. Hawkins, Derek called me. He's panicking. He asked me to lie for him, give him an alibi. He wants me to take the kids and leave the country with him. Said he has $300,000 in cash. Octavia's stolen money. Heather emailed an audio file. We listened. Derek begging his other wife to run away with him, promising her the money he stole from Octavia. Octavia's face hardened completely. I'll help you destroy him. Morning came. We sat at my kitchen table. Planning. Really planning together for first time in years. My phone rang. Marcus Wells. Mr. Hawkins, I heard Derek emptied your daughter's accounts. I think I know where some of that money is. Wells had been watching Derek for months. Saw him making deposits at a check-cashing place on Broad Street. Had photos. Timestamps. I want to help. Derek profited from what Mitchell did to me. Time he paid for that, too. I pulled property records while Wells talked. Something caught my eye. Address. 1847 Riverside Drive, Augusta. Derek purchased it in 2019 from W Family Trust. I checked my notes. Wells' family address. Marcus, did Derek buy your family's house? Long pause. How did you know? Property records. $45,000. It was worth $200,000. My mother was desperate. Sick. I was in prison. Derek took advantage. Octavia stared at the deed. He bought your house? He profited from Mitchell's crime against me. Then he used that crime to blackmail Mitchell. The cruelty was breathtaking. Wells arrived an hour later, shook Octavia's hand. "Let's get him." We worked through morning, drafting Octavia's statement, gathering evidence, contacting the DA. I went to my basement alone, pulled a photo from my desk drawer. Octavia, at age 7, gap-toothed smile, holding my hand at the beach. I stood there holding that picture. For the first time since this started, I wondered if I'd gone too far. Octavia was going to confess to perjury, might face charges, had lost her business, her marriage, her reputation, everything gone. Because I'd set this in motion. What if I'd just let them take the house? I looked at my investigation wall. Marcus Wells's photo. 15 years stolen. Derek's multiple families. His frauds. His manipulations. No, I didn't start this. Derek did, and maybe this was the only way to save her. Sometimes you burn away the infection to save the patient. I put the photo back, went upstairs. Octavia looked up from her typing. "Dad, you okay?" "Yeah, sweetheart, I'm okay." Late evening. Email from Opal. Urgent, found him. Derek in Augusta. Still in town. Grand Hotel, downtown. Under fake name. She attached surveillance photo. Derek outside courthouse, talking to someone. Luther Hayes. Octavia's former lawyer, handing Derek a folder. "What is Luther doing with Derek?" Marcus Wells. "Your lawyer who quit?" "He didn't quit. He switched sides." My phone rang. Luther Hayes. "Mr. Hawkins, we need to talk." "Do we?" "Derek has hired me. He has allegations. About you. About Ms. Coleman Hawkins. Coercion, manipulation, elder abuse claims." "That's his desperate move?" "Derek has documentation. Recordings of your conversations. Texts. He's claiming you forced her to turn against him." "Recordings?" "Derek recorded everything. Your midnight conversation, your basement meeting. He's claiming you coerced a confession." Octavia's phone. Derek had installed spyware months ago. Oh my God, he's been listening to everything. I looked at Marcus Wells, at Octavia, at our evidence. Derek knew our entire plan. "So what do we do?" I smiled slightly. "We move faster. We go public tomorrow, before he can file anything." "Tomorrow? We're not ready." "We're ready enough, and Derek just made his biggest mistake." "What mistake?" "He let us know he was listening, which means we can use that." We sat around my kitchen table, staring at Octavia's phone like it was a bomb. Derek had been listening to everything. "We have maybe 12 hours, I said. "We move now, not tomorrow. Tonight." The house became a war room, coffee brewing constantly. Marcus Wells calling victim advocacy groups, journalists who covered his exoneration, Octavia typing her statement. Des arrived at 4 a.m. to review everything legally. At 7:30, reporter friend Jennifer called. "Derek's holding press conference in 30 minutes. He has recordings. It's bad." I hung up. "Change of plans. We're not going to DA first. We're going to the press. Now." By 8:15, we were at the Chronicle building requesting emergency meeting with editorial board. While Derek's press conference happened at courthouse steps, we were inside showing editors the full picture. Complete unedited recordings, financial records, property deeds showing Wells' family theft, Mitchell's resignation letter, Heather Morrison via video conference agreeing to public statement, phone records of blackmail. Editor Susan Torres's face transformed from skeptical to shocked. "We almost got played." "Derek showed you edited clips to manipulate coverage. We're publishing, today. This is the biggest scandal in Augusta legal history." At 10 a.m., Chronicle released explosive article online. Full scope of Coleman Mitchell scandal. Revealed bigamy, blackmail, property theft. Community reaction was immediate and savage. Social media exploded. Derek Coleman trending in Georgia. For 2 hours that morning, Derek had thought he won. His press conference. Luther Hayes defending him on TV. News coverage presenting both sides. Derek ordered room service breakfast at the Grand Hotel. Celebration. Then Hayes' secretary burst in. "The Chronicle just published. You need to see this." Hayes read it, went white. His reputation now tied to Derek's guilt. He started damage control, which meant abandoning Derek. Again. Derek's phone started buzzing. Friends calling him lying sack of shit. Heather sending, "You destroyed our lives." He pulled up the article. Read his own words, unedited, proving his guilt. Saw Heather's testimony. Wells' story. The room service arrived. He couldn't eat. His victory lasted 120 minutes. By noon, TV news crews were hunting him. Luther Hayes called press conference to withdraw. I was provided incomplete information. Running again. The internet was merciless. Within 6 hours, Derek went from threatening press conference to national punchline. Someone created meme. Derek's face with caption, "Got married to second woman for tax purposes. Tax preparers hate this one weird trick." I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered he called me old man and tried to steal my house. Saturday evening, Marcus Wells got a call. Augusta City Council meeting Tuesday night. Mitchell was supposed to receive Service to Justice Award. Ironic timing. City Council wanted to use that meeting to address the scandal. Invited Wells to speak. Lem to present evidence. Public to witness. Derek would be there. Subpoenaed. Everything comes full circle. Hotel staff reported Derek's room was disaster. Furniture blocking door. Multiple whiskey bottles. TV constantly showing news coverage of himself. When manager knocked about checkout, Derek screamed, "Go away! I'm calling my lawyer." "Sir, we need you to leave by tomorrow." "I said go away." He made desperate calls. To Luther Hayes, "You piece of shit, you can't abandon me. I'll sue you." To Heather, 8 voicemails escalating from apologetic to threatening. To Octavia, blocked. Messages didn't deliver. Saturday evening, Derek tried checking out back entrance wearing baseball cap and sunglasses. Reporters spotted him. He retreated. Tried again at 2 a.m. Front desk. "Mr. Coleman, you have outstanding bill." He threw credit card. Declined. Accounts frozen by bank fraud investigation. "I'll bring cash tomorrow." Never did. Mrs. Patterson told her neighbor, "Can you believe Derek Coleman? 2 wives? And that poor Wells man?" "I always said there was something off about him." "You did not? You borrowed his ladder." Sunday evening. Relative calm. Derek still hiding. Mitchell disappeared. DA would announce charges Monday. City Council meeting Tuesday. My phone rang. Unknown number. Derek's voice. First time since courthouse. "Lem, we need to talk." "Do we?" "Face to face. Tomorrow. Just you and me." "Why would I do that?" "Because I have something you want." "I already have everything. Your crimes are public." "I have the original promissory notes, and I have video of me forging them. Time-stamped, dated, everything." Pause. "Why would you record yourself committing crimes?" "Insurance. I record everything, Lem, including things you don't want public, like Octavia discussing ways to hurt me, like Marcus Wells stalking me, like you and your lawyer discussing ways to destroy me. Meet me tomorrow, noon, Old Tobacco Warehouse on Reynolds Street. Alone, or I release all of it." "That's blackmail, Derek." Again. "Call it what you want." He hung up. Octavia. "Dad, you can't go. It's a trap." Marcus Wells. "He's desperate. Dangerous." "I know." Des. "If he has those recordings, he can release them whether you meet him or not." "Maybe. But if he has video of himself forging my signature, that's evidence. Worth the risk." "What if he doesn't have anything?" "Then I'll deal with it." Wells. "I'm coming with you." He said alone. "I don't care what he said. I've waited 15 years for justice. I'm not letting him hurt you." Monday morning, I loaded my car. Small voice recorder in one pocket. The 1995 transcript in the other. Still carrying it. Still my talisman. I drove toward Reynolds Street, toward confrontation in abandoned warehouse. 40 years transcribing confrontations in courtrooms. Now I was having one in an empty warehouse. The setting changed. The principle stayed the same. Let them talk. Let them reveal themselves. Record every word. The warehouse smelled like rot and abandonment. Pigeons nested in rafters. Windows broken, letting sharp rectangles of light through. Derek stood in the center, 50 feet from me. He looked terrible, unshaven, clothes wrinkled, eyes wild. "You need to call off the DA, he said. No greeting. "Make a public statement. Clear my name." "No. I have recordings. Octavia planning revenge. Wells stalking me. You conspiring. Release whatever you want, Derek. You're still guilty. Of everything." He became unhinged. Started ranting. How I'd forced him to extreme measures. How the house should have been his anyway. How I was vindictive. Cruel. Obsessed. Everything recorded. My pocket device catching every word. including him admitting he forged my signatures. Police arrived. Des had called them early. Told me later he didn't trust Derek not to get violent. Derek realized he'd confessed on my recording. His face went white. "You're under arrest," the officer said. Outstanding warrant. DA had issued it Sunday. Derek screamed threats as they led him away. I watched, didn't smile, didn't need to. That evening, city council chambers were packed, standing room only, TV cameras, journalists everywhere. I sat front row with Marcus Wells and Des. Octavia sat separately, middle section, alone. Mitchell arrived with his attorney, looked like a ghost. Council President Patricia Simmons gavelled for order. Tonight's agenda has changed. Judge Mitchell was scheduled to receive the Service to Justice Award. In light of recent allegations, we're conducting public inquiry instead. Gasps from gallery. Mitchell's attorney. "This is irregular. We weren't properly notified. You were subpoenaed Friday. You're here. That's notification." She called Marcus Wells first. Wells walked to the podium slowly, placed an old photo there, himself at 40, before prison with his children. "My name is Marcus Wells. In 1995, I was convicted of murder. I served 15 years in Georgia State Prison. I was innocent." The gallery went silent. The prosecutor who convicted me was Horace Mitchell. He presented evidence, a murder weapon that he claimed was found in my apartment. But that evidence was fabricated. The timeline didn't match. He held up the 1995 transcript. "This document proves it, and the man who recorded those facts is here tonight, Lemuel Hawkins." Wells spoke for 20 minutes. His family's collapse. His mother's death. Then the final blow. "In 2019, Derek Coleman bought my family's home for $45,000. Worth $200,000. We were desperate. He took advantage. Later, I learned Derek used my case to blackmail Judge Mitchell." The gallery erupted. I was called next. Presented methodically. The transcript with margin notes. Evidence timeline discrepancies. Derek's sealed 2018 case. Phone records proving blackmail. Property records showing Wells' family theft. Everything documented, cross-referenced, projected on screen for everyone to see. Mitchell's attorney kept objecting. "This is trial by public opinion." Simmons. "This is transparency. Continue, Mr. Hawkins." When I finished, Simmons looked at Mitchell. "Judge Mitchell, do you dispute Mr. Hawkins' testimony?" His attorney. "My client declines to testify without immunity guarantees." "That's not how this works. Judge Mitchell?" Long pause. Then quietly. "No, I don't dispute it. It's true." Sensation in the chamber. Mitchell continued. "I fabricated evidence in the Wells case. I was young, ambitious. I took shortcuts. An innocent man paid the price. Then Derek Coleman discovered it and blackmailed me. I let him. I rigged Mr. Hawkins' case. All of it. True." Public confession. On camera. His attorney looked horrified. Rear doors opened. Police officers entered. "Judge Horace Mitchell, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice, evidence tampering, and judicial corruption." They handcuffed him in front of everyone. 20 years as a judge, ending with cold metal around his wrists. As they led him past Marcus Wells, Wells said quietly, 15 years, Judge. Remember that number." Mitchell nodded. Couldn't look at him. During public comment period, Octavia approached the podium. "My name is Octavia Coleman Hawkins. I'm Lemuel Hawkins' daughter." Murmurs, cameras focused. "I testified against my father. I believed Derek Coleman. I believed the promissory notes were real. I was wrong. Derek forged those documents. He manipulated me for years." She looked at me. "I'm sorry, Dad." I nodded once. Didn't smile. But my eyes softened. Council voted unanimously. Criminal prosecution recommended. Formal apology to Marcus Wells. Commendation for my civic courage. Outside, after, Wells shook my hand. No words needed. 15 years stolen. 30 years of guilt. All acknowledged in that handshake. Octavia approached cautiously. "Dad?" I looked at her. My daughter who'd betrayed me. Who'd just chosen truth over comfort. "You did good tonight, Octavia." Not forgiveness, but not rejection either. Possibility. 3 months passed. Summer arrived in Augusta. Hot. Humid July. My basement felt like a cave. Cool. Dark. Safe. Mitchell was formally charged, held without bail. Derek charged with 8 felonies. Trial dates set. Octavia cooperated with the DA, got probation. Her boutique closed. She worked retail at Macy's now. Media circus died down. Life returned to something like normal. Early July evening, I sat on my back porch. Iced tea. Fireflies in the yard. Peaceful. My phone rang. Octavia. First time in 2 weeks. Dad, can I come over? I need to talk. She arrived looking different. No designer clothes. Target jeans. Simple shirt. Hair pulled back. She carried an envelope. We sat at my kitchen table. I made coffee. Old habit. Long silence. I don't know how to start. Start with truth. That's what I taught you. Truth is, I'm ashamed. Of everything. How I treated you. What I believed. Who I became. Derek manipulated you. No. No, Dad. I let him. I wanted to believe him because believing him was easier than questioning why my business was failing. I chose comfort over truth. I chose Derek over you. That's on me. I nodded. I'm sorry. I know sorry isn't enough. I sued you. I testified against you. I called you a manipulator. No, it doesn't erase them. She pushed the envelope across. This is everything I have left. $4,000. From selling my stuff, working, saving. I know you spent retirement money defending yourself. I pushed it back. Keep it. Dad, you need it more than I do. Silence. Octavia, do you understand what you did wrong? Yes. Tell me. Specifically. I trusted money over family. I trusted a man I'd known 6 years over my father who raised me. I didn't ask questions when I should have. I let grief over Mom make me vulnerable, and when you needed me, I turned on you. That's right. All of it. So, what now? Now you live with those choices. You rebuild. And maybe, in time, we rebuild our relationship. But I can't forgive you completely. Not yet. Maybe not ever completely. Some things don't heal all the way, she cried. I understand. But I can give you a chance. To earn back trust. To be my daughter again, if that's what you want. I do. More than anything. Then we start small. Sunday dinners. Here. You, me, and your sister when she visits. We talk. We're honest. We see what happens. Sunday dinners? It's a start. Week later, Marlene flew in from Toronto. First time both daughters were at my house together in 5 years. Tension was thick. I made them sit at the kitchen table. Your sisters. You lost your mother. You almost lost your father. Life is too short for this. They talked. Awkward. Painful. Honest. By evening's end, they weren't best friends, but they were talking. First Sunday dinner happened. Uncomfortable but hopeful. Mail arrived one morning. Letter from Marcus Wells. I opened it on my porch. Georgia had agreed to compensate him for wrongful imprisonment. $140,000 per year served. Total. $2.1 million. Then the surprise. Mr. Hawkins, without you, I'd never have gotten justice. I want to share this victory. Enclosed is a check for $200,000. You earned it. I sat with the check for 2 days. Then I knew what to do. I wrote my own check for $200,000. Put it in an envelope with a note. For a fresh start, use it to pay off debts. Maybe start small business again someday. But this time, build it honestly, slowly, without debt. Consider it an investment in your future. And a gift from Marcus Wells. His suffering paid for this. Don't waste it. Dad, I mailed it before I could reconsider. Final Sunday dinner of July. Lem, Octavia, Marlene at the kitchen table. Octavia had received the check. Crying. Grateful. Overwhelmed. Dad, this is too much. It's not from me. It's from Wells. And yes, it's too much. That's the point. You lost everything because of Derek. Now you can rebuild. Properly. Marlene, will you? Rebuild? Octavia, yes, slowly, carefully, honestly. We ate my pot roast, mediocre, but they ate it. After dinner, we looked through old photo albums. Before Mom died, when we were happy. Grief and hope mixed together. Not perfect, but real. I sat on my porch watching sunset over Augusta. Phone quiet in my lap. Iced tea sweating in Georgia heat. The house was mine. My daughters were talking again. Marcus Wells had his compensation. Mitchell and Derek were facing justice. It wasn't a perfect ending. Some things stay broken even after you fix them. But it was a fair ending. And sometimes, fair is enough. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching,